Welcome to the 75th episode of the Meeple Society, podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
I'm Greg.
On this episode, we expand the mailbag to include answering comments from previous podcast episodes. We embrace the spooky season that is upon us by delving into the 4 games that make up the Horrified series. And we wrap up with yet another installment of the Hot Seat. But first...
video releases. We've been slow. We got one video out, episode 66 of Playing Through Our Collection.
I'm working on 67 now.
Yes.
It's been recorded. I'll have it out in a few days, hopefully.
So that's all that is.
Yep.
New to the collection, not a damn thing.
I almost had one today. Almost. I thought I did. We had a UPS delivery about 4 o'clock today, right before you got home from work, 4:30ish or so. And I was all excited because I thought it was a Kickstarter game that I knew was coming, but I hadn't gotten a shipping. I've gotten a shipping notification, but last time I checked, UPS had not picked it up yet. So I thought for sure that was it. And nope, it was the new bar stools for the studio. That was a big bummer.
Okay. We're going to move on to our new segment.
Absolutely.
Well, newly named segment.
Okay.
Random stuff.
Random
But
stuff.
we have guests in the studio with us to talk about random stuff with us.
Do you like the new segment name? Just random stuff?
Random stuff.
Random stuff. It used to be called Banter, but she didn't like the name Banter, so we called it
Banter
Random
is what it
Stuff.
is. That's not what you call it. That's what it is.
But we have a comment about that, though, too.
We do.
We'll get to it here in a minute.
We'll get to
but
it.
Random stuff is how has a board game hobby.
How about we actually introduce our guests?
Oh, that would be smart, wouldn't it? Well, no, we just have guests.
They get to guess who they are?
Random guests.
Random guests. But we have Justin and Jackie. They've been on the show before.
They have been.
Yeah. Guys, I'm sorry if he doesn't keep talking in the microphone. It's not my fault. I keep telling him to talk into the microphone, and sometimes you'll just hear.
I'm going to turn it this way.
It's just he just turns his microphone and then doesn't turn his.
Or he turns his head, not his microphone.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. I'm going to have to
gonna
stay
cut
like
all
this
of
to look at everybody. No, I won't. That makes it fun.
No, he won't.
That makes great. Anyway. So, how has the board game hobby influenced you? Do you think of things different now that you've played board games?
Pick up the microphone and just.
Here we go. So, how have we done
my
it?
It's actually better, probably.
Yeah.
Looking like Freddie Mercury over here. Microphone stand.
I've picked up my microphone stand. Anyway, so,
Oh, goodness. This would be great
Like-
if it was on video.
like language, the terms we use in playing board games, do you use it outside playing board games? Do you look at problems differently? I mean, what has influenced you? Like, do you say meeples outside of playing board games?
No.
No.
I don't.
Is this a question for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't ever say that.
I see. What are y'all meeples doing in here?
You know, now mind you, he came up with this last night. None of us saw this until earlier. Well, they just now saw it today.
You saw it last night.
I saw it this morning or this afternoon.
They're not
after
even seeing it
work.
right now.
Well, that's true. They're not seeing it.
It's like, what am I looking at?
Never mind.
What are we seeing?
I saw it this afternoon when I started writing my intro.
Mm-hmm.
So, how has board game hobby influenced us? Well, it's definitely influenced the pocketbook.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the biggest one, I think.
I think
Yeah.
so.
It influences what we do in the beginning of August
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the beginning of September for
and
us.
what we
and-
spend in July and June.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I read something today. It was it fits along this line before I'd even seen what your random stuff was. That Father of the Groom posted that he had to give a speech, and he came up with a theme of board games because his son was a big gamer, and his daughter-in-law is now becoming one, and how he talked about how they had played with his other son a cooperative game. They played through 2 seasons of Pandemic recently, and he thought it was very interesting to watch his son and future daughter-in-law problem solve and how they got through all of this stuff. And he thought, okay, they're going to be good. So I thought that was interesting that he related that he related working through a cooperative game with working through marriage and how to problem solve outside of just the game.
Mm-hmm. You started all that, and I was like, oh, I remember one of the things I was going to say.
And now you forgot again.
Now it's gone. The problems
Of
with an old
course.
brain.
Yeah, right. So,
Anyway, well, how about this? Does anybody well, I know with you and you know with me, anybody outside of the people you play games with know that you play board games?
Yeah, they think
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
Okay, they think you're a nerd.
And in fact, the
Yeah.
board gamer at work thinks I'm a nerd because I have more board games than he does. And he thinks you guys are cool, though. So,
You're a
something.
nerd, but we're cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But the whoa, the one that you guys met at Gen Con, though, he thinks I'm cool because I play board games and I have a lot of them. So
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, everybody at work is constantly asking me about gaming and stuff. Matter of fact, I got into a conversation with the department secretary the other day who did not realize there was such a thing as hobby games and did not realize Gen Con was board games and role-playing games. She thought it was video games. Like, no, there's a whole world of gaming outside of video games. Just because video games is what most people see does not mean that's all there is.
Yeah.
I said video games make up one room, literally one room of Gen Con,
yeah,
whereas everything else is the rest of it. So,
I do often get asked about, what kind of board game should I play? Or, oh, you can bring in board games to play. I'm like, I mean, you're giving me like 45 minutes to do this. So I don't think I'm the guy.
What is your skill level at board games? Because
Well, I think a lot of people think board games is like Monopoly.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
sorry, they don't
Sorry.
realize
Yeah.
how I guess in depth it can be.
yes.
I mean, we think about it. We're like, you want to play a game tonight? Yeah. Like, what kind of game? I don't know. Something that's not 2 hours long. That really limits what we're going to play.
Right.
It's like,
Luckily, there's a lot
so.
of them out there still. But yes. Yeah, we had a thing at work where we have to do this weird project at work. And I'm sorry if any of my coworkers are actually listening to this because it's
she's going to
high
ring it.
schoolish. Anyway, we got given this silly project at work we have to do about the company's core values, and me and my partner were given diverse thinking as the project, the core value we have to do a project for. And they told us, you can do anything, you can make a game out of it. And she looked straight at me, my team manager. So needless to say, we're going to make a game out of it because why wouldn't I? So it was funny that was the first thing I thought of, and I've already thought of a game that we're going to use to do it. And my coworker is not a gamer by any stretch, but she's all for this. So it'll be interesting, but we're going to use Blank Slate as our diverse thinking game. So it'll be interesting.
Why don't we move on?
Mail call.
All right.
We don't have any questions, but we did
We
have
did
comments
not.
from some of the past podcasts.
Right. I thought it was interesting. I try to go on and answer or at least respond to questions on the video side of the podcast when I do them on YouTube. I'm not always successful at it because things have just gotten so busy lately with the remodeling we've been doing and trying to build a new studio and yeah.
And you guys are really popular and get all the things. So
we get all the things.
all the comments, the views, the
Oh,
likes,
yes.
subscribes.
Like on
Look
what?
at me like that.
It didn't really make sense until you started explaining it.
Oh my god.
Okay. So if you don't know that after the podcast drops, then you go through it and you add pictures and you put it up on YouTube. No, it's not us actually talking. It's just a
Well, it's us
picture of
talking.
us.
It's just a picture of us. Yes.
But you go through and you actually put up pictures of the game. So if you're watching it on YouTube, it's not just a picture of me
Us.
and Katie just staring back at you, but it's actually pictures of the game or what we're talking about. And there you can comment on it.
A little easier than
And-
commenting
and-
on the podcast
Yeah.
itself.
So we've
yeah.
been getting a lot of comments. So we're going to talk about these comments.
Okay.
So we'll start
went-
with the episode 73.
Yeah, you went back just 2 episodes.
Yeah.
We figured that was plenty far enough to go back
Yeah.
because we've got 6 comments to talk about. So, okay, where do you want to start?
Episode 73.
Okay.
You can start.
You want to start at the bottom there with Phil's?
That's fine.
Okay. So the first one was from Phil Hatfield, 2282. Now, we actually met Phil.
Yeah, he's in Montana.
He's in,
Helena.
Montana.
Or Helena. How
Yeah,
do you
we met him.
pronounce that?
You met him online, Helen. I don't know. It could go either way. Anyway, you met him online through the I want to say BGG, and
Google
that's not
Plus
right.
group.
The Google Plus group. And we talked back and forth. He found out we were coming to the area, so we met in person and played a game. Anyway, his comment was, and this was in regards to the Grail games we talked about on episode 73. He said, I have several Grail games, but I've managed to acquire all of them over the years. The most expensive was The Longest Day, and it ran me about $100. That was back in the 90s. Never heard of The Longest Day. It is both satisfying as well as a little sad that I don't have any more Grail games I am yearning for.
Well, right now we don't either.
Yeah, we don't either. But
We
Phil,
picked
you
up
got to
our
find
last one.
something new. There's got to be something out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to say what's a Grail game unless you've played it and know you love it and can't find it.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, we're right there with you, Phil, because we've got our last one.
Yep.
All right, so the next one is from James Brazil.
Yep.
James Brazil, 3847. He said, I have used shelf liner too. Now, this is in regards, I'm assuming this is in regards to our comments about using shelf liner underneath some boards to keep the boards from spinning. It's the rubberized shelf liner.
Yeah. Especially if boards supposed to stay together.
Yeah,
and
especially
they always move, so we'll put it underneath it.
We'll put this rubber shelf liner underneath of it, and it keeps everything kind of steady, which in the same, it keeps it from moving around too much. So, it's a nice alternative, but it's the rubber stuff with the little bitty holes in it. That, like I said, I bought it for the kitchen years ago, and we had an extra roll, so we use it for board games now.
How would you pronounce that next one? GD Kadad?
Yes, GD Kadad. Now, this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, this is one of the gentlemen we met at Dice Tower West. Why am I drawing a blank? Winston?
Winston.
No. Is it Winston?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it's Winston from
Okay.
Dice Tower West. Anyway, he says, Blank Slate is a staple of our family nights. It is a great game and a big hit.
Did you guys play that with us? Or no?
No. The only time we've played it was with Chrissy
Okay.
and Ben. And
What was it called again?
other grade, Blank
Blank
Slate.
Slate.
No, I don't think I know.
No.
It's kind of like, you know how in Just One, you're trying to get the person to answer, say the word you're trying to give clues for, but if people copy your clue, they're out, so they
Yeah.
don't get those clues. This one, you wanting
want to
people
match.
to match.
But you only want one person to match, not
You
everybody.
get more points.
So you get, with Blank Slate, you have a card that you flip over, and everybody's answering. Nobody's guessing. There's no one person whose turn it is, whatever. But it's a word and a blank, like star blank, or something blank power, or whatever. And everybody has to fill in the blank with one word. And if you can, and then once everybody has done that, you flip them over. If nobody matches you, you get no points. Because the idea is to think alike with everybody else. But if one person matches you, you get 3 points. If 2 or more people match your answer, then you only get 1 point each. So, and then it's a race to 25 points. Ben creamed us in both games we played. So, but it's a fun game. It was a really fun, not cooperative, but party game. So we're actually thinking this would be a great one for the 24, toward the end of the 24, especially when everybody starts getting a little punch happy. Punch happy? That's not the right word. But you know what I mean.
Slap
Slap happy.
happy.
That's
Happy.
the word I'm thinking of.
Punch happy.
Just remember
That'd
that.
be
Just-
Yes. We're going to, yeah.
Right. Anyway, but it is a good one. Like I said, I plan on using this in that project. So I think it's a great one
Yep.
to show diversity of how people think, but yet in certain situations, we're still going to think alike.
Yep.
So, okay. Last one from episode 73 is Blue Sigpearl. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm so sorry. But Blue Sigpearl says, Spheres of Influence is my Grail game. I spent $150 on Chaos in the Old World.
I've heard of Chaos in the Old World.
I've heard of Chaos in the Old World. I've
I
not
looked
heard
up
of Spheres of Influence.
Spheres of Influence. It looks like it's a war game. It's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of like Risk.
Oh.
It's something like
okay.
that.
Okay. Interesting. I've never heard of it. I have to look that one up.
But 150, that's more than we've paid for our Grail games.
Yes. we've gotten lucky on our Grail games so far. So
Okay, 74. Episode 74. We got 2 of them there.
Okay.
To do real quick.
episode 74, the first one came from James Brazil, 3847 again. This one said, Random Board Game Banter is a great segment title. So he's just kind of combining both our ideas, I think.
Random board game banter.
Okay, well, we might have to go with that, unless it
Yep.
doesn't pertain to board games.
And just
which
instead
it
of
usually
random
does.
stuff. That is more catchier.
It is.
Random
Okay.
board game banter.
Okay, well, James, it sounds like we are going to go with your suggestion. Should I change it right now? Random board game. I'll go
We'll do it later.
Okay. All right, and the very last one. This is one that literally came in today.
Yep.
This is from David6294. Says Kickstarter should be an exception to the rule as it's a limited time only purchase. Now, I think this is referring to the fact that I said no more game purchases until after Christmas
Yep.
because, Christmas is coming. That's enough. And our back, or not, well, no, I shouldn't say our backlog. Our backup video has like 13 games on it right now. No more till Christmas.
Yeah.
But yes, Kickstarter is the rule, which is kind of ironic because we were sitting there waiting for dinner to be handed to us at the restaurant. You noticed something new on Kickstarter. What was it?
Oh, Mayfair is back.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they have Empire Builders Europe out on
Yes,
Kickstarter right now.
Oh.
Yeah. You've played Empire Express with us,
Yeah.
right? It's a
The
Cranrail
Cranrail
game.
game.
Yeah.
I love Cranrail games.
So, yeah, they've re-released Empire Europe. I'm sorry.
Empire Builders
Thank you.
Europe.
Empire Builders Europe. And it looks really cool, I guess. The little
Yeah.
cardboard chips or poker chips.
The train cards are now dual layer boards.
Yeah, your player board is dual layer boards. The trains are actually trains, not just little pegs. So it looks really nice.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's very tempting, but I'm not the Tranrail person. I'm not the Cranrail person, so I will not be making that decision.
Yep. Yep. But I'm just happy to see Mayfair back. It's not the same owners. It's new
No.
owners and everything.
Correct.
So
But they've even brought back the logo.
So,
Yeah.
I was going to say, so it's Mayfair, but not Mayfair.
it's the logo.
It's the logo, and they're trying to bring back some of the old games,
But they're
with
upgrading
obviously
them.
better components because
They're-
this one
yeah.
looks really good for a Cranrail
It's
game.
Mayfair without
Yeah.
the boring Mayfair luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see
Sorry,
what
I miss
games they bring
Mayfair.
back. Yeah, I do
Mayfair
too.
had some really good games.
They did, and there's a lot of them you can't find anymore, and that's sad.
Yep.
So that's one reason when we're purging a lot of our games. I shouldn't say that because we're not purging that many, but I find it harder to get rid of the Mayfair titles than anything else. So maybe it was that couple of years we worked for them. I don't know, but I find it very hard to get rid of them.
So that does it.
Yes, that is the mailbag.
Let's move on.
Okay.
So we're now doing our deep dive. We are actually deep diving 4 games. All 4 of the Horrifieds that we sat down and played one night with Jackie and Justin. And we're going to kind of go over them, kind of give them a rating and see what we come out with.
Okay. All right. So the base, and I can pretty much explain the bulk of all of the Horrified games in one fell swoop. With Horrified, this is a cooperative game for, I'm assuming 1 to 4. I don't see why you couldn't play this solo, but for 1 to 4 players,
I think you can play it solo.
yeah, I think there's a solo mode.
Well,
but
it says 1 to 4.
does it? Okay. Well, I didn't
Okay.
see that. I don't.
pretty
have
sure
that
that's
in
what you'd
front
said.
of
I think you
me.
just said 1-4 players.
No, I said never mind.
Yes, it's 1 to 5 players.
check.
1
the
to
tape.
5 players. Okay. In Horrified, you're playing one of the investigators. There are multiple investigator cards in each game. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. But you are playing an investigator. Your job is to investigate around the city, trying to find the pieces you need in order to combat the monsters. There are different items and item tokens around the city that are placed out at the start of each turn that you need to pick up to collect. Some of these items are used to defend yourself against the monsters. Other items are used to combat the monsters. Each monster has a different requirement, so it definitely adds to a lot of replayability in that aspect. But you are collecting what you need. You're combating the monsters. Meanwhile, at the end of each turn, at the end of each player's turn, you are pulling a monster card, and that monster card tells you which monsters are moving, which monsters are combating, if there's any civilians that are coming out onto the board that you now have to try to rescue, because if you lose too many of them, because the monsters will fight them first, but if you lose too many of them, then you lose the game. There's a couple ways to lose. You can, one, lose too many civilians. The monster deck can run out. I thought there was a third way.
I mean, the players can die multiple times, so the tracker.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's the top track.
Yeah, if you basically if you run through your horrified track, which I think most of the games have 7. You can lose either 7 investigators and or people.
Yeah, it's the 7th
civilians.
death is when you lose.
Okay, so you can lose up to 7 investigators and or civilians before you lose the game. Investigators go to the hospital or to whatever the equivalent is on that particular board, and then the next round they come back in without all their stuff. And the only way to win is to beat whichever monsters you've chosen to combat, whether it be 2 or 3.
So the first one we're talking about is the original, the OG.
The original, yes.
People call it the Universal Monsters.
Monsters.
It's not really on the box, but
No.
that's what everybody calls it.
Right.
It says Universal Studio Monsters.
Yeah,
Where?
it does.
If you
If
look
you look-
right there,
says
really tiny, it says Universal Studios
Yeah.
Yep, it
Monsters.
does. I noticed that last
The
time
other
we
ones
played
say
it.
it right on the box, though.
I know.
That one it doesn't. But
I know.
And I laughed at this one because the very first time we played this, I remember you guys pulling this out. And we're like, well, what difficulty should we choose? And we literally, all of us went, we're experienced gamers. Let's go.
That was
3
American
monsters.
Monsters. Though,
Was that
wasn't it?
American Monsters?
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause it was the first one you guys got. We got you guys American. to
That's
start.
right.
Yeah.
That's
It was
right.
Greg's
Well,
Christmas
that's
gift.
true. I forgot about. I
Came
couldn't
out.
remember which one it was, but
From his favorite
even so,
daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
the very
chose
first
it.
time we'd played any horrified game, literally, every one of us agreed, we're experienced gamers. We can handle 3 monsters.
Yep.
Did we even take out one?
I don't
No.
think
We
so.
got
did not.
creamed.
We lost very quickly.
We didn't pay attention.
But we
to
also
the
pulled
difficulty
like,
level or anything.
but we pulled like 2
Yeah.
high difficulty and like 1 medium difficulty.
Yeah.
Because all of them have like a
I highly
difficulty
suggest
level on
Yeah.
them.
always playing with the lowest of the
Yeah, the
Especially
directions
to start
tell you.
with.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So this one has Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Dracula, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, and Creatures from the Black Lagoon. We played the last time we played with the Creature and Dracula.
in Dracula.
We only did the
Yeah.
2.
Yes. And then
We've played with most of those,
We've played
actually.
all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein is 1,
Yeah.
but there's
but they do
2 monsters.
Yeah, they function as 2 monsters.
And you don't want them near each other.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, you have to keep them separate.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
It's-
would
that
be
one. That one.
difficult.
We
It's one
lost
of the
that one.
difficult
I'm pretty sure.
Now every time we play this too, you guys are usually running the game. You're telling us
Yeah.
what we need to do.
Well, it's like
Well, I felt
pandemic.
like this last
you
time
guys
we
know
did
what to do
pretty
in
good.
pandemic. We know what to do in Horrified.
Yeah, and you
There
guys
you
have played
go.
this a lot more. I mean, the only time we ever played it is when we're over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've played this one twice with you guys, and we've actually won both of them. The first time was Dracula versus and Wolfman, and this last time, like you said, was Dracula and Creature from the Black Lagoon. But we've actually won both of them.
Yeah, and the creature got to go up and down the river.
Yes, that was different. Okay.
But it could get out of the river if it's at the end of the river, or in the lagoon or the waterfront, and then it could go to the docks and the institute and all that,
Yeah.
and then it could get on land.
But that
and
was
come after
only
you.
if it told you. That was only if the card told you it came on land, right? Or did
No,
it just
no, it
automatically
just
come
goes
on
to
land?
what-
As long as it moves,
close
say
to
like
the
if
top.
it was
Move
sitting
that
in the
many spaces,
lagoon, it
okay.
can move again. It's going to move towards the nearest
true.
person, and if
Okay.
that person's at the cave, it's going to move up to the cave.
Okay. Okay, so the board on this one is okay. So
I don't think it ever really said what the name of the towns were, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. Have
They
names.
don't. I imagine the last. Well, we'll get to the last one later. But anyway, so this one has a number of different spots. It actually has a hospital spot.
It's where you go when you die.
Yes, but yeah, the difference on this one is that lagoon, the waterfront, basically the whole river system. I don't think any of the others have that river system.
No.
No,
They're- they're-
not as a playable.
Yeah,
Okay.
Not as
it's
much.
basically
Portion.
there for the creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And
because
you
this one
can't
has
go
the
in it.
docks.
Yeah,
and
you
No.
yeah,
No.
tons people
And
can't
none of
go
the
in
other
it.
monsters can go through it. It's only
Okay.
the creatures. So,
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
but yeah, I mean that's really the main part about it. I mean it's cartoony, but not like super cartoony. I think there's
Right.
yeah, the artwork on this one does not bother me at all.
Is this the one
It's-
where the bag, like the bag to hold the items, is
this is the
nicer?
nice bag.
This is
This
the
is the
nice
nice
bag,
bag.
yeah.
The rest of the bags, the rest of them, they come out with
Yeah.
a weird looking bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they're branded nicely still.
They are.
But-
they are. Yeah, this is a nice cloth bag, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one actually came with what, 6 or 7 different investigator
Yeah.
to choose from. I know as the series went on, the options got fewer and fewer. If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Mostly they have the same, relatively
Yeah.
the
The
same
same power,
powers.
yeah.
From
'Cause we
each
were
game,
able to
yeah.
keep them all until I think the final one where we all
Yeah.
had to go, oh crap.
Yeah, they were all different.
No, I thought it was just the first 2 were the same, and then the last 2 were very similar.
The
The
first
gr-
3
the
are
gr-
pretty similar. Like
Yeah.
the, like
First
it's
3?
They're not exact, but
But
they're
it's-
pretty close
yeah.
to being
Okay.
the same
Different,
thing.
but-
Okay.
it's similar enough. But yeah,
Okay.
the last one I think was the one that didn't really have.
No, it didn't fit much at all.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. Okay, so do you want to go through the ratings on this one? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
we can
Is
do
out
that.
of 5?
This is out of 5, but we've done it with in categories for each one, like
Mhm.
components.
Oh, okay,
Com-
that's right.
So I got components, artwork, rule book, theme, complexity,
This is where I
gameplay.
almost want to have the game in front of me.
And if
Original.
even if you can't think of a score for it, it's not going to affect your score. It's still going to be.
Yeah.
It just won't be broken down that much more. So on the components of this game, Katie.
You're going to make me go first every time, aren't you?
Well, you're the first name on the list.
Yeah, it doesn't go backwards. No. Okay.
Okay, Jackie. Jackie's like, wait.
When we say components, we mean like the pieces to
Yes,
it, right?
the
Okay,
actual
Yes.
that's what I
pieces.
figured, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, this one, okay, so you've got your investigator cards, which are fine. They're thick cardboard, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
I thought that the monsters are, I mean, they're basic minis. They're not uber detailed,
No.
but they're basic minis. They're not they're not something you're going to find on Kickstarter probably, but that's okay.
They're hard plastic.
Yeah, they're hard
Yeah.
plastic. They're serviceable. They're all different colors, so it's easy to tell them
That
apart.
is nice.
So they're not all gray.
And the stands,
Right.
the player stands are all different colors too.
Yes, the
Yep.
player stands are different colors, and then oh my gosh, your
civilians.
Civilians.
The civilians,
Thank you. I don't
yeah.
know why I cannot
Well, they're
remember that
different in every
word.
game.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But the print on those is really small. It's hard to read. I think I was in charge of having to dole those out each time that came up.
Oh, on the civilians?
And
Yep.
the print is very.
And they got harder
and
every
they
game.
did. Every game they got harder to read.
That's
Yep.
why I didn't want to do it.
Oh, thanks. So, I mean, I didn't deal with the cards, so I didn't deal with any of the iconography on the cards, so not taking that into account. I mean, I think they're average, maybe a 3. I think all the components are average of what you would find in this price range.
So you're giving it a 3.
Yeah, and I think the price range on all of these was right in the $39, $40 range, right? I think
I
that's
think
what
so,
I've
yeah.
seen
Yeah.
these for.
Yeah.
For all
Between
4
30
of
and
them,
40.
yeah.
Yep. Me, this is it's a typical 80s or 90s style game,
Yeah.
component wise. Kind of a Mayfairish thing. I mean, we just talked about Mayfair.
Oh, a little better than that.
Artwork's a lot better. But
I love Mayfair, but
the
the components are better
player
than that.
pieces and the villagers and stuff are all standees, and
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the monsters are minis, and everything else is cardboard. I mean, there's no big upgrading things to it. It's just a fun game. So yeah, I'd probably 3's about the middle of the road for us.
Yeah.
In a 5-point system. So yeah, I'll give it a 3. Justin.
I mean,
Same
I
thing?
would agree. I think the pieces on this are slightly better than some of the other ones. Well, I mean, they're all different. So between the 4 games, you're not going to get like the same game 4 times. You're
Right.
getting a slightly different game each time, which is nice. But yeah, I like a 3, 3.5. I like the bag was cloth.
True. The bag
Yes.
is better on this one.
That gives me an extra half point for this one.
So
There
you're
you
going
go.
3.5.
3.5.
Does that mean I have to dock my others by half a point? Okay.
I mean, that's my standard.
Oh my god.
That's your standard. What do you think, Jackie?
I would have said a 3.
3?
Nothing I have to say is any different from what you all have said. I think it's fine.
Right. That's the bonus of going last.
Yeah.
It's like you've all covered everything I'm talking
there's
about.
nothing really.
Y'all went on a 3, but I'm going with a
Yeah.
1. But
And no other reasons for it.
Yeah.
right.
It's a 1.
Okay, artwork. Katie, do you want to go? Here, I'll go, and
Okay, you go.
you can go last.
There you go.
There
Let's
you go.
do
I'll
that.
just
round
alternate
robin.
it.
Okay.
So,
I like that.
that makes
Jackie, just to think about, you're going to go first on
complexity.
theme.
A theme, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Theme.
Just
Anyway, so artwork. It is like you guys we said, it's cartoonish, but not too cartoonish. The artwork kind of reminds me of Back to the Future, the game, the board game. It's pretty much the same thing. It's Prospero Hall.
I was going to ask, is this Prospero Hall or
Yeah,
not?
this Prospero
Okay.
Hall. I did not check on the last one if
I
that
can
was
check real
Prospero
quick.
Hall because they were already broke up before this one was released. So I don't know if they finished the game before they all got canned or what. But well, they pretty much they kept a couple of them, but got rid of the rest of them. And now they have a whole new studio. But anyway, though,
no, the last one is not Prospero Hall.
it all matches, including the artwork on the player pieces and the everything.
Yeah.
Everything matches because a lot of times you'll get games that the artwork, the characters look like this, and then the board art looks like that, and it don't even match
If
the
different
box
teams doing
cover
artwork.
or
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it reminds me of like an 80s or 90s game. Just by the artwork and stuff, it looks like something you could find back then. So I'm gonna go with the 3 on this one. I think I like the artwork on some of the other ones better. So I'm a 3.
I like that it's very clear where you're going and like where you can go. Everything is marked out in yellow instead of blue. Like the blue section is where you're not supposed to go, and
Right.
yellow is somewhere you can go. It's very distinct. And I think it's easy to read. I mean, this one is pretty easy to read. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where everything is, even after playing it a million times. But yeah, I mean, it's middle of the road. I've seen better artwork on other games, so yeah, 3.
Justin with a 3. Jackie.
I'd also give it a 3. I think it's fine. I mean, I really think it's fine. I like a couple of the other ones better. I do think what
Yeah.
Justin said about how like the road part is yellow is a lot is easier because some of the other ones it's a little bit harder, especially the newer one was tough, and then
Yeah.
the Greek one is kind of tough sometimes to look at. But yeah, it's fine. It's a
Yeah.
3.
The yellow brick road in this, you definitely
Yeah.
can tell where to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and for that reason, I'm gonna actually give mine a 3.5 because I'm remembering what some of the others look like. I remember this one was so easy to play on. The buildings didn't overtake the spaces. The artwork doesn't overtake the board.
Yeah.
It's very, very clear where you can move, where the connections are. So that your road is very clear, and that's what you're worried about.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5 just because, like I said, I remember some of the others coming up, and yeah. Anyway, yes, 3.5.
On to the rule book.
This is all you, Justin, because good thing you go first.
I don't think I've ever looked at the rulebook.
So I basically have to do this entire rating for the rule book, which makes sense
all
that
you.
this is my turn to go first.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think I've even actually looked at this rule book.
It's a really easy rule book. All things considered, if you're looking for something, you know exactly where to go. It's not a million pages long. It's like 4 or 5 pages. It's not long. It tells you the actions. The thing that helps, in my opinion, the thing that helps with the rule books is when they give you player cards that tells you the turn order. Because generally, if you have that player card, you don't really need to go look at the rule book a million times. Because
The rule book is for clarification.
everything is on the player card. So I think that that helps. I'm always a proponent, like a big supporter of those like player cards. The back of the monster cards have exactly how you set things up. So that's nice. All the cards have exactly what you're supposed to do. So you don't have to go to the rule book for a lot of clarification. So I'm going to combine that all into one and give this a 4.5.
4.5.
And that's going to be a 4.5 on all 4 games, except for for the first 3 games.
Okay.
The fourth
Okay.
one was kind of confusing.
And nobody else really has looked at the rule book.
I've never
right?
looked at the rule book.
Doesn't the rulebook have like the monster strengths and like what they do in it?
Yeah,
too?
it does
Which
tell
is
you like the
kinda nice.
difficulty levels and stuff, and it does go a little more in depth. And by a little more, I mean like 2 extra sentences on each monster.
But it does do that though. Some of
Yes.
them is like, this is what the monster do, and then
Yeah,
you look
and
at
you're
the
like,
card
what?
that you're trying to figure out what are they doing. It's the exact same right. And it's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Not
but
helpful at
it's
all.
Prospero Hall, and they usually do a good
Yeah.
job on
Yeah.
their rule books. I mean, look at Pan Am. That rule book's awesome.
I love
Yeah.
Pan-Am.
Okay, so we're gonna. Everybody
say,
else is
everybody
gonna
else is-
skip this.
yeah,
it's
basically-
gonna throw Justin's a little bit different, but that's
not,
fine.
Not drastically. In the long run, it's an average anyway. So.
Yep. So
All right,
theme.
Jackie.
Over to Jackie.
When you say theme, what are we like? Just what the game is? Like
The
theme could be a lot of things.
theme of the game is
Killing monsters.
It's killing monsters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Saving the
monster
town.
hunting, and basically, when people talk about theme, they're like, "Do you feel the theme when you're playing? Do you feel that urgency of trying to escape the
And this one
monster? Do
you-
you?"
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would probably give it a 4. I mean, the thing that is tough about all of them is just sometimes the monsters just are mean, and it's hard. And it is hard. It's not like
Yeah.
That all goes into theme though, because the
Yeah.
monsters
Yeah.
are supposed to be
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in some ways this is a good 2-player game, especially if you've never played it before. Because when you add more people, it's more tacky and it's rough.
More tacky.
Well, yeah, you're not moving as often.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
not moving
Yeah.
as often, so then you
Yeah.
get stuck in places. So I mean, yeah, I think it does fit the theme for sure. Some monsters I think have better functions and better I don't want to say storylines, but I guess storylines than some of the other ones. Especially for like the other, not this game specifically, but some of the other ones. Like there's some of the monsters do different things, and I
Yeah.
think some of them are cooler than the others. I don't know, but I would give it a 4. I think it fits the theme.
Okay, Katie.
I mean, I think the theme comes through in this one, and as I've said before, I don't feel theme in games. I look at mechanics, and we've talked about this before, so I won't dig into that again. So theme is hard for me because I don't always feel theme. But this one, I mean, I can see where the whole theme is chasing monsters. It is trying to take them out so they don't kill the villagers because, that's bad. I think I would probably go, I would go 3. It's, again, just because I don't typically feel theme in games, but you still feel that urgency to stay away from them because you don't want to lose up against them because they do take all of the things that you're trying to collect to take them out, and you don't want to use them for defense. You want to use them to take them out.
Yeah.
So there is definitely that sense of urgency that comes through. But kind of like any cooperative game, really, where you've got that sense of urgency that you're going to get defeated if you don't hurry up and do something right. So.
Okay. I'm going to just come straight out. I'm going to give this a 4.5 because of the artwork and the artwork of the monsters on the cards and everything. It reminds me of the old movie posters. I know. You're like, what movie posters? Yes, there was movie posters back then, and it was the artwork like
movie
that.
posters. I thought you meant like the movie posters. I was like, what movie is called Posters?
No.
When did this come out? No, you're talking
The
about
posters you'd see
wow.
at the movie theaters
Gotcha,
and stuff.
gotcha,
It's like this,
gotcha.
and the artwork in this, it draws the houses that it looked like the houses in these types of the Universal Monsters
I wonder why.
series. Because I can remember sitting up late at night watching Sammy Terry with my dad. That date ship, but if anybody knows who Sammy Terry is,
He comes on the radio every.
No one knows who
October.
that is.
Sammy Terry was a local
Yeah, I didn't know who he was either,
midnight
'cause he's
movie
local.
person
Yeah.
in our
Like
area.
Svengoolie.
Like who?
Svengoolie.
Sammy Terry comes out on Smiley every October.
Okay.
And does.
How about
Anyways.
Elvira? Do we all know who Elvira
Yes,
is?
we know
Okay,
who
kind of like
Elvira
that.
is.
She would host the movies, and they'd show scary movies and stuff.
So
And
I'm like, who?
Well, and these are all these monsters are the movies that you and I grew up with.
yes,
They are the Universal Monsters.
Yes.
That's why, hence the name.
Universal Studios Monsters.
yep. But yeah, so I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
Justin,
Yeah, I actually agree. When we're thinking about the theme, and Am I horrified? No. Am I like, oh crap, the monsters are going to defeat us? Like, yeah, when that fear marker gets up to 4, 5, 6, and you're like, oh god, don't die, and you're just terrified that a monster's going to come and kill you.
Or worse yet, that card's going to come out and put the civilian right on top of the monster.
Yeah. So it's just like,
Instant death.
I get it.
Okay.
There is definitely some rush to it, and that's the entire purpose of the game is defeating the monsters. So
Yeah.
I agree. I give it like a 4.
A 4?
It's a October game. I don't think we pull it out very often.
No.
No.
Nope. Okay, so back to Katie on complexity.
Okay. Well, okay, so this one, like I said, we've played it twice. We've won both times, probably by the skin of our teeth. Matter of fact, I think the last one I literally wrote in the notes, the kid killed both monsters, i.e. Justin's character,
Yeah.
which was a kid, literally a kid.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny, actually. But, okay, so thinking cooperative games, okay, like Pandemic, we've kind of got the numbers down. We can usually squeak out a win in Pandemic. Not always, but usually. This one I find we have a harder time doing that. So it's not that it's complex, but some of the monsters are harder to beat than others. So you've got to be a little more diligent about trying to maintain that. Oh gosh. Probably give it, like I said, I don't feel like it's a complex game. There's only so many things you can do on your turn. Say 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah,
It's just a very average game for
I don't.
her.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't find it's very complex, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So okay.
I agree. This is probably the lightest of all 4 of them, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
feel like
I
it
agree.
was the urgency was there to had to. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? So I'm going to actually give this a 2.5
Wow.
because like I said, I think this is the lightest one of them all.
Okay.
So
I agree. This is a very beginner game. It's not for your, the advanced players can play. Like we said at the beginning, we were advanced gamers and we got smoked.
That wasn't on this one though. That was
Not
the
on
other
this
one.
one,
As we've
you're
already
correct.
discovered.
We'll
yes.
get to that one.
But I feel like this is a game that you can pull out for people that have never played a board game. In fact, we've pulled out a Horrified to play with people that have never played board games before, and well, they own the 4th Horrified, and now they're board gamers, or they're becoming board gamers. So I would give it like a 2 because it's not complex. It's very beginner friendly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably say like a 2.5 because it really isn't. Like we said, the Frankenstein monster is probably the hardest, I think, in the whole thing. The rest of them are fine. Like Dracula's fine. Like they're not like horrible to play together. And like Justin said, we've pulled out Horrified for people who don't really play board games, and it's not that hard.
No.
It's nice that I like it as a co-op, so I mean, and that makes it a little bit easier too. So
We're going to move on to gameplay. And I'm up on this one. The gameplay's pretty straightforward. You're either going to move or
pick stuff up.
pick
or
stuff up. I was like, you pick
Yeah.
stuff up, don't you?
Move.
Yeah.
Push
Pick
a
stuff
civilian.
Yeah.
Oh, move
Yeah.
a civilian, push a civil, or whatever you want to call them.
Civilian,
Yeah.
villager,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think,
Yeah.
whatever they
I think
call
the
them.
game calls them villagers.
Yeah.
Yep.
This one is villagers, yes.
Or try and defeat the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you only have like 4 actions.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
gameplay's
not
pretty
complex.
light. So, I'm going to say, I'll say a 3. I mean, it's pretty, well, no, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put a 2.5 because it is extremely light compared to some of the games we do.
3.
Justin, right out of the gate. 3. Okay.
Yeah, I
Jackie?
probably would say 3 as well.
Jackie's saying
like
3?
honestly.
I'm thinking, okay, so one I wanted to bring up, I kind of spaced over the cards. There are cards that you get whenever you deliver a villager
Yes.
to
cards.
his home place. So that helps because those are very, very valuable cards. They can help push things around. They can, they're extremely helpful because they can move the monsters without having to use an action to do it. Well, actually, you can't move the monsters anyway, but I think I'm going to go with a 3. I like the way everything comes together in this one, where, like I said, but I like any cooperative game, it has that thread of quarterbacking. Well, not like some cooperatives are not there, but this one definitely has that. It's there. You could very easily fall victim to quarterbacking in this game. And if you're not familiar with that means, that just simply means that one person kind of directs the game and everybody else is just playing along.
Yeah.
Which can be good or bad.
It could be good or bad. Typically, most people portray it as bad because then why am I here if you're just telling me what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Well, at the end of that one, we're all lower than 3.5 on this. Justin's the highest actually with a 3.33.
It's because of my 4.5.
Yep. So
Yeah,
as a group score, we gave it a 3.18. So it's worth going out and finding. But you might want to play it before you buy it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to American Monsters.
Which a lot of these, I feel like, are going to be similar. Gameplay is going to be the same type of stuff.
But some of these, they get a little more complex.
Okay, so this one again is the same concept. You still have 4 actions per turn. You still have the cards that you get when you deliver the citizens or the villagers, or I don't remember what they're called in this one.
These are, I think, citizens.
The citizens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this one's Citizen.
Okay. So the only big difference is the monsters that you're fighting. You no longer have the universals. You have more of the ones that were American lore.
Yes.
I think Chupacabra.
Chupacabra, Mothman.
Bigfoot.
Jersey
Bigfoot,
Devil.
Jersey Devil.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we
The
fought
Banshee of the
Jersey Devil
Badlands
and
and the Ozark Howler.
Yeah, as I say.
we fought Jersey Devil and Bigfoot.
Yep.
Yes.
Fun fact for those who like Unsolved Mysteries, last season they did a Mothman episode that was pretty good. And I found out the Mothman originated near my hometown, so that was cool.
Didn't they do
Oh,
a
wow.
Jersey Devil one also?
They did a Chupacabra one, I
I
think.
thought they did a Jersey
It's the reboot on
Hmm.
Netflix, not the original.
So the Banshee's the first time we played this and we said, oh, let's play 3. Let's play 3 monsters. We're all pretty
Yeah.
good at this. Let's do that. And
What 3 did
and the
we
Banshee's
use? I
like
think it
the
was-
hardest
Yeah,
one.
I think we did the Banshee.
Oh, the Banshee is horribly hard.
I think we did the Banshee, the Jersey Devil, and something else. I can't remember what the last one was.
I can find out because I usually write it down.
Yeah, this one I like the artwork. It does. Oh wait, we're not there yet.
We did the Chupacabra, Jersey Devil, and
Oh,
Banshee.
See, what he steals my thunder every time. I said I'm going to look.
But
it
we
up,
also did
and
Banshee,
he goes and does it.
Banshee, Ozark Howler, and Chupacabra. We did this twice.
I think we lost so
Four.
quickly we did it
We've
again.
lost this so much.
Yeah, the first one says horrible loss. The second one just says loss.
I
Hey,
think
we managed to take out the Banshee on the second one though. We just lost to the
we
Chupacabra
probably
and the
just
Jersey
only
Devil.
focus on the Banshee.
Yeah, we probably
I
did.
also think we didn't realize that the monsters had the ratings of like easy, hard, or medium until like the
No.
4th time we played this game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're just picking whatever.
we did win this time against Bigfoot and the Jersey Devil, but
Yeah.
we were actually on a roll.
Bigfoot's actually an
Last
interesting
week.
one.
I liked that one.
That was a different.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one was kind of cool because it left footprints
Prints,
as you went
Yeah,
along.
Bigfoot is not going to you. He can't.
Yeah, they
He's
won't,
running
they won't
away.
attack you. Yeah.
Yeah,
However,
running
he is
away.
doing damage if you're not in his space. So
And didn't he have kids or something like that?
That's the last one.
The last
That's
one.
That's
different.
the Yeti.
Oh yeah,
the
okay, yeah,
Yeti.
that's the Yeti. Never mind.
Close. Bigfoot, Yeti.
Spoilers.
I mean, whatever.
Yep.
Okay, so like I said, gameplay is exactly the same. Matter of fact, our investigators on this one were exactly the same. I don't remember what my power was now. Oh, I could pull stuff from an adjacent space. I could pick up stuff from
Yeah.
an adjacent
It was
space.
probably the red player, whichever.
It was actually, yes.
In the first one, but all the colors are different.
All the
they're
colors
all
Yeah.
change. Yeah, we
Yep.
just decided to keep the same powers because that's what we were used
Yep.
to.
This one also has a hospital.
Thing.
Similar, not 100% the same, but similar places. Like they both have. There's the cemetery or the graveyard. There's the hospital.
the camp, the mansion.
The camp. The
ranger
yeah.
station.
This has a little bit more spaces though on this one than the other one. There's more
Seems
locations.
that way, yeah.
Yeah.
It does
There
look
is
that
more
way.
locations.
And it's all roads. It's all divided roads and everything.
Yeah,
So.
it
Minus
doesn't.
when you get down to like the resort and the bait shop and the
Yeah.
swimming hole. Those are not 100%. Because you have to get
you-
through the resort to get to the swimming
Or
hole.
the farm.
Yeah.
The lane markers leave it when you get to the farm.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a
But it's-
roundabout around the city
It's
hall.
a small American town.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I feel like the artwork though is a little bit different.
It is different.
It looks like it's
little
the
bit.
town of Cross Creek. Am I seeing that right up there in the corner? Welcome
Yep,
to Cross
There you
Creek.
go.
There you
This
go.
one
This
names the
one gives
town.
a
So yeah, the other one did
know.
not.
No,
I don't think
I
so.
don't think it said it on it
No.
anywhere.
This is, the first one looks like an old European town,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where the second one, I mean, it's clearly an American.
Look like cobble streets
It's
and everything.
more like crisp, modern looking.
This reminds me of the artwork from like Chronicles of Crime, the Red View.
Yeah.
Like it's the same type of
Mm-hmm.
art.
I'll say
Americana.
This one was still, actually no, this one was not Prospero Hall as the artists. The first one was Horrified
Yeah.
was Prospero Hall. This one is a team of people,
Oh yeah.
and it may have very well been some of the team, but yeah, it's Studio Hive. Joshua Newton, Tom Moore, Victor Maristane, Corey Lynn Hubble, and George, and of course I saved the last one, the hardest one for last. Dutanopoulos, Dutson, I don't know. Anyway,
You're so good with
I
names.
am
If you're
horrible
listening,
with
send
pronunciation.
us your pronunciation for your last name, please.
There
Thanks.
you go. Anyway, but yeah, it is a team of people that did this one. Not well. That being said, Prospero Hall was a team of people. They just didn't break down the names.
Yeah.
So
And I don't remember what their new studio is called though. So
I'm betting Studio Hive because that's what did this
Possibly.
one. So
okay.
I don't quote
Well,
me
it
on
wasn't
that.
until after Greek Monsters when they
broke up.
broke up.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They were
Anyway.
kind of forced to break up. Okay, so why don't we go into rating this one? Since I mean the play's pretty much the same.
They're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So components.
The bag got slightly worse
The bag did get worse
and stayed the same throughout.
and stayed the same
So-
throughout. That being said, I didn't deal with the bag on this one. Well, I have in the past because this is the one that we own. So my biggest complaint with the bag is the fact that every time I have to open it, I have to fight with the Velcro.
Yeah.
That was the biggest
It
complaint
does
with
stand
these
up
bags.
on the table, though.
It
so
does.
That's nice.
But it still tends to close on its own
Yeah.
in between every turn, and then you got to fight with the Velcro to get it open
If
again.
I'm remembering right, all of the item pieces were slightly different.
Yes.
Different shape, basically. Same cardboard, everything. But everything else was pretty much the same.
Yeah. With
The
Yeah.
art didn't
Yeah.
really, well, in my opinion, the art didn't really match the artwork on the board either on the item pieces.
no, I don't think it did.
No.
As I recall. I'm tempted to go down just a hair because of that bag. So I'm going to say 2.75.
The bag killed it. 2.75.
entirely. I just don't like the fact that every time I had to touch it, I have to fight with the Velcro. Velcro has its uses, but
Not on
Something you
bags
have
that
to
you're drawing out of.
Yeah,
something you have to
continue getting.
constantly.
Yeah,
be-
those
you're
should always
literally
be-
getting into it after every single
Yeah.
turn.
Those should just be
So-
drawstring bags,
They should be.
not Velcro bags. So
Yeah.
I didn't really have to do anything when we played these games except for move my person and say what I'm doing. I didn't roll the dice. Oh no! Well, I guess
You
I
did,
did have
right?
to roll the
Everybody rolled
dice.
the
Yeah,
dice,
I
yeah.
did have to roll the dice. So, but other than that, it was just I played it and that was it. So I didn't see the problems. I thought the bags, the colors on the bags are cool because they're different colors, but but it's not a drawstring bag.
No.
And I only knew about the Velcro because you said something about the Velcro. So I'm actually going to give it a 3.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember a specific detail. Oh god, of course.
He's looking up.
I thought
on
the-
Amazon.
The yeah, I am actually. The player characters, they're actually like cut out this time around instead of just like a.
A
Yeah.
standee. Okay.
I mean, that's small details. The monster pieces kind of were a little flimsier. Like
Yeah.
they weren't just the hard plastic like the first.
They were a
one
little
is.
softer, yeah.
That's right. The items were like a badge
Yeah.
with like wings on it.
But like
right.
the art didn't really match the art of the game, which I thought
No,
was
it.
kind of funky.
I didn't
Right.
think so either. Overall, like the monsters got a little better. They got a little bit more. They got more detailed, in my opinion. But that bag, man. I give it. I think I gave the last one a 3. I give this a 3 too.
You actually gave 3.5 on that one.
Oh, 3.
Last one.
Well, it's because you said the bag would killed it for you.
Yeah.
I remember you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I gave an extra half point for the bag.
There you go.
So, Jackie,
I'd probably give it a 3. I mean, I dealt with the bag for all of them. I do think the cloth one is better, but I like the design on the whatever it is, plastic. I guess I don't know what that's made of.
It's nylon.
Vinyl
It's
or
a
nylon or
or some
something.
sort. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a 3.
Moving on to artwork. Oh, I'm first on this one.
Yes, you are.
Okay. The artwork, it's more, I think it's more colorful. This one has a lot of brown in it.
Yeah.
And the roads, you can still follow the roads pretty good. It does have a creek through it.
It's brown and gray.
it must be a Euro because it's all brown.
Well, I mean, that's basically what America is. So
Yeah.
What, brown?
very modern, brown,
Lots of
gray.
farmland and darkened farmland. Well, it's supposed to depict it at night, so the
The lights
the
are
landscape is dark and the around the buildings is all lit up.
So what I give this the last one? So I really like the last one
Gave it
better.
a
I think
3.
I gave it a 3. I do like the artwork on the cover of the box better. I like this one. The artwork on this one was a lot cooler. So I'm going to stay with a 3 just because the box looked better. But
Okay.
I don't think the board looked as good though.
I'm gonna keep it at I think at 3. This one is like my least favorite of the artwork.
On the board
Yeah.
or in the box.
And Jackie is in disbelief. Overall, I think this one was okay to me.
I don't know. I give it a 4. I like the art on this better. Just overall, the one thing I don't really like is that the items didn't match the artwork on the board. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's really my only. But I prefer this. Like I think the font is better. Like I don't know, we're on all the locations. I don't know. I like this one.
On this one, the monster cards also were slightly weird.
Yeah, the monster card. Well, yeah, but the monster cards look cool too.
So like on the monster cards here, they give you like on Bigfoot, it gives you like a little bee, and it's kind of confusing sometimes when you're trying to figure out what monsters are being pulled, because if I can figure out my mouse, like if you look down here, it's just different icons instead of like being very clear of what's supposed to be happening. So that made it a little challenging. I had to keep looking. Okay, what monster is that again? But I mean, it's just the initial. So technically, like you're like, oh, Bigfoot, B, JD, Jersey Devil.
Right.
If you're intelligent, and then sure. But
All right, artwork for
Okay.
me. I have to agree. I like the other one better. I think it's just more clear as to what you're doing. The board pops more for me.
On the last one?
On the last
on
one.
the first one, I mean?
On the first one, yes. I'm going to stick with a 3. I mean, it's fine. It does depict a small American town set back in the heyday of all of these American monsters. So it does its job. I just think the other one is a little bit better. But yeah, I will go with a 3 as
3?
well.
See, that picture doesn't makes
Yeah,
it
that
look
one
even
doesn't
more
make it
brown,
look-
not
yeah.
a dark brown.
Yeah.
Must be the lighting on that other picture.
Maybe.
yeah,
Okay, rule book. Justin, what do you think of this rule book?
same. Give it a 4.5.
Give it a 4.5.
It's easy. I mean, I don't think I actually ever read I think you guys read this rule book long ago,
we?
and then I just remembered how to play it, and we just did it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
might have
remember.
opened it up just to make sure we got the settings
Actually-
correctly, but
I think I may have actually looked at this rule book, but that was
That
like
was when
again,
you first gave
these
it.
just
are
after
very-
last Christmas.
these are very beginner games.
Yes.
So the rule book was very clear, concise, and
Yep.
you knew exactly what to do. So
Yeah.
Okay, theme.
What did I give the last one? Did I give it a 3?
You gave the last one a 3, yes.
4.
Nope, I'm sorry. You gave it a 4.
I think I'm also going to give this a 4 because I think, I don't know. I mean, we live in America, so this is kind of hard. But like, I mean, most everybody's heard of at least one of these, if not like Bigfoot's probably the most famous one. Probably Jersey Devil's probably close second. Chupacabra. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like so. I mean, it's. I won't say the same thing over again, but it's like all the others. Like this one, I do feel like the monsters are a little bit meaner. Like they do kind of like strike you more. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot more. I feel like there's a lot more urgency in this one than the first one. So I'll keep it as a 4.
Okay.
Same reasons. I'll keep it at 3, just because again, theme is not always sold on me, but being more familiar with these monsters, and I'm pretty familiar with most of the Universal monsters too, because it's what we grew up with. Not that I ever watched any of those kind of movies, because those were not the kind of movies I delved into as a child. But these, it wasn't just the movies; it was the lore that we were familiar with, because they're quote unquote local. But I'll stick with a 3 for this one.
Okay. I am going to go. What did I do with the last one? I did it.
4.5.
Oh, I had a 4.5 on the last one. I think
I
I'm
like that theme.
Yeah. Well, I could relate a little better.
Yeah.
This one was kind of cool though, because you learned a little bit more about these American monsters that I had no idea about.
These myths.
What's that?
The myths
Yeah.
and lore of some of these.
And I feel like the monsters were a lot meaner, as Jackie said.
Yeah.
They felt a little bit harder to battle in this one.
Yeah.
It's like
They are.
like Universal Studios was the gateway. Start it there, and then you go to American Monsters. It's going to get a little bit harder. So if it holds true, then the fourth one should be a lot harder. But we'll see. So I give it a 4.
I think the overall theme of the game was pretty cool. You're an investigator, whether you're a jock or whoever. You're an investigator. Your player card is a little notepad guy with your name on it.
Technically, like a paranormal investigator.
Yeah. And then like the monsters are different case files. Like they look like case files, and you had the different badges as the icons. I think that's cool. I give it whatever I gave the last one, a 4, I think. So
You gave it a 4, yes. Okay, now we go to complexity.
Okay, complexity. I feel like this one was I don't feel like it was any more complex than the last one. The only thing that changed it really was the monsters. As we said earlier, the investigators that were available in the original one are identical to the ones that were here. They just changed names. So, like, for instance, the professor was the same thing as the scout. The jock was the same thing as the archaeologist. So they did the exact same thing. They just had different names and different pictures. So I don't feel like the complexity to me changed at all between the two. Like I said, the monsters were a little different, but that's really the only thing that changed. So I'll stick with the 3.
Well, actually, you gave the last one 3.5.
Oh, well.
I'm going to go with the 3 last time. On the first one, I gave it a 2.5. I'm going to actually give it a 3 here because I felt like
It got
it
harder.
got a little bit harder. The monsters, to me, seem... I mean, considering our first play, yes, we played 3 different monsters, though.
We overestimated our abilities.
We got creamed in that game. I mean,
Yes.
I don't think we had a chance. And this one, I think when we played it, it was pretty close on the end of this one, too, wasn't it?
We won this one. We
Well, I
won
know.
this one. Yeah.
I think we won every one of them, didn't we?
spoiler.
No,
No.
we did
No,
we
not
lost
win every
one.
one
No,
of
we
them.
did
Yeah,
not
we
win
did not win all of them.
Okay. Hang on. Don't be saying. Don't go.
I'm
in
not.
advance,
I
though,
wasn't
but-
going to. I was looking at the score on this
Oh.
one. We played Bigfoot and the Jersey Devil. Beginner difficulty group win is all I wrote down.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we won.
So yeah, we played all these the beginner except for the next one. Right? I think
I don't
by
remember.
that time we decided to
We started
Step
doing
it up.
better,
settle, though.
Yeah.
Yep. So take our word for it. I mean, yeah, we played it beginner, so
Yeah, the monsters do get a little bit more complex. The ones that we fought, I thought were easy. I still think it's a beginner game. I'd still pull this out.
yeah,
I think the monster powers started to get a little bit more than the first one.
They were definitely different, and they had to be different. They couldn't be the same. Otherwise, you're selling the same game with different
Yeah.
artwork. And
yeah.
what is this, a video game company? Like,
Right.
I think I'd probably give it a 3.5. I don't think it's as complex as the first one for sure, but I do think the Greek one is a little bit more. There's more components to beating the monsters than in this one.
Yeah.
So, like, there's added stuff that we can talk about for the next one. But, so I give it a 3.5. Like, I don't think it's, like I said, I think the monsters are meaner, but if you play the right ones, it's not as bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Moving on to gameplay. The gameplay's pretty much the same, but like I said, the monsters seemed like they were the complexity part of it again. I felt it took a little bit more strategy to take out the monsters this time, although I don't think we really had that bad of a time with these guys.
I think it was just hard because Bigfoot kept moving, and then like if you didn't pick up the footprint, like the footprint moved, and like it was. I remember we were trying to figure out how to get to Bigfoot more than anything else.
Right, and he was one that, as long as there was somebody in his location,
yeah.
he would just move and he wouldn't attack. But if there was nobody in his location, he would do damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember now what the damage was, but he did something, and it was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wanted to keep somebody in his location, which was definitely different.
Yes.
That was not something we were ready for.
Yeah, and with
it took
Bigfoot,
us a little while with that
we
one.
had to get the picture turned over, and then we had to arrange the files.
Yeah.
I was the one who did that.
Yeah, and you were the
That's
one
what we
that
used the
mainly
footprints
focused on
for.
that. You were the one that
because
actually
you
took
almost
him
have to
down.
have like everybody focus on a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And figure out whose abilities do what to make it the easiest to beat. Because it's real. I mean, it does take a little bit of strategy though. But you kind of have to. You kind of have to pick the right, investigator or player, I guess, however you want to say it. But
Yeah, you kind of have to be a little bit diligent on who is who.
yeah.
So I give this one a 2.75.
Oh.
It's up from the last one. My last one I did a 2.5. So your turn, Justin. On gameplay.
I mean, the gameplay is the same to me. It really is. So whatever I said last one, give it the same score. I think it was like 3 or something.
Yeah, you gave it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably keep it a 3.
Yep.
Yep, same with me. Same reasons.
Okay.
This one, like I said, the investigator cards didn't even change. So it literally, the only
Yeah.
thing that changed was you got some new monsters, and that was it.
So Jackie made it to a 3.5.
Hell yeah.
Justin, you're at 3.42. I was at 3.15, and your mom, Katie, was 2.94.
Yeah,
You
is
hated this game.
It was
I
at
did not
2.75.
hate
This is the one
it.
that you guys own.
I
It's still a
know.
3.25, so
Well,
it's still recommended.
Okay, yeah. I didn't care for the artwork or the components as
Well-
much as I did the original game. So
Well, not recommended. It's still considered a good game.
yes, and it is. I think these are all fine games.
Okay. So moving on to Greek Monsters. It's going to get repetitious here.
It
if
is.
hasn't already, though.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same type
Yeah.
of game. This one had a little bit different gameplay in it, didn't it?
You have to deal with the underworld a little bit for the Greek one. So like so you have to find specific underworlds for certain monsters.
Yes. Okay.
So it adds a little bit more complexity in terms of like you have to find the right underworld. You have to go to that location to do something. I forget which.
And that's not even all the monsters. Like, I mean, there's 6 monsters. There's only 4
Underworld cards.
like gates or whatever
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So you didn't always have to do it. So maybe you only got one monster. Like I think Cerberus
Cerberus. Yeah.
has the underworld that you had to find.
Yeah.
But you still put all 4 gates down, and you still have to go to each one of those, waste an
Yeah.
item, and then open it, hoping that it's that correct one.
Hopefully you got the first one right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was pretty much the only really different in the game. You're still getting the tokens to get the monsters, getting the villagers or whatever they were called in this game.
Legends. Is the same.
Legends, that's right.
Heroes is in this one. I think Legends is the last one. Or is it the other way around?
This is Legends.
This is Legends.
It makes sense of being Legends.
Yeah.
We're back to the golden
The golden
brick road.
Yeah, the gold brick roads.
Yellow brick road. That's
There
what it
you
was
go.
called.
So with this one, we played medium difficulty with the Siren, Cerberus, and the Chimera. Well, we killed the Chimera.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing we killed.
We lost.
This is the
We
one that we
lost
lost
this
pretty
one.
badly.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
lost
lost
because of the
this one.
siren.
We lost this
It was
one
because of the siren.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's tough.
Because we were pretty close on Cerberus because mine was
We
that
were.
I could travel to like any place with the underworld.
That's
So like I was like we were gonna probably beat that one.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
siren, like I forget what she does. Like, There was something she did. One of her powers that like
She drew people to her.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we would be all set up to do something,
Yeah,
and then
then
she
she-
would attack,
yeah.
and everybody would move toward her.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it kept throwing us off our game with that one.
So there's only 4
yeah, she's
monsters in
hard.
this one, correct?
No, there's 6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
They got Medusa, Cerberus, Chimera, and the Minotaur.
Or Chimera, the Siren.
Medusa, Cerberus, Chimera, Minotaur. What am I missing?
The Basilisk.
The
The
Basilisk.
Basilisk. Okay. But yeah, this one plays basically the same thing. Again, as Jackie said, that you've got to go into the underworld on several of them. We luckily only had one that we had to do that with, so we just had to find the right gate, which we found very quickly, as I recall.
Both times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, because we got that card that made us grab all open gates and
flip 'em
flip them over and shuffle them back up. And I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up losing the gate and having to refind it. But this one changed up the abilities, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah.
But because you're in a completely different time frame. So it changed up all the investigator abilities. So we had to switch it up this time around. Well, we had the ranger, the mariner, the musician, and the hoplite.
Layers.
Were the 4 that we
the word
played.
I was looking for was layers, not
Layers.
Not
Oh,
gates,
layers.
Layers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Gates didn't sound right, but
No,
I was
it
just
didn't,
going
and
with
I
it.
was going with it, but yeah, layers.
Yeah. Okay, so again, same basic gameplay.
Yeah.
So
All of these are the same game.
they really are.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
Just a couple things change here and there, and that's
So
it.
we'll just leave gameplay off on this one.
That's fine.
Is that fine? Okay. So components.
Oh, me. Ha, that's me. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. I mean, nothing really changed. The quality of nothing changed. It stayed exactly the
Quality of nothing changed.
Well,
The monsters got
Little more
they were
flexible.
more flexible.
Okay.
Each game, the monsters got slightly more flexible,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Which is
but
weird. Yeah, it's almost I don't know
less
if that's
breaking
I don't
and-
know if that's good or bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that cheaper or is that better
It's-
quality?
Exactly. I don't know. But that was really about that and the stinking bag were really the only 2 differences.
Yeah, the bag changed. The bag color changed, didn't it?
Yeah, it was themed.
Yeah, the color
it's
changed.
themed to the.
But it was still the stupid Velcro that shut every time you needed to open it. So I'm gonna stick with it. I don't know. Let's go with a 3. I feel like I'm being very repetitive here. Just give me all 3s, and I'm gonna go take a
Go
nap somewhere.
Well, you were the low one on the last game,
I was.
but I think I agree with you though. At 3
Okay.
for
for pretty much the same thing
This is
Yeah.
for
for
components.
for
Components.
components.
Yeah.
3 across the board.
there's only
Yeah.
like a couple of opinions, and it's going to be artwork that to me is going to be different.
Yeah,
Everything else
really,
is pretty much the same. for
Even
me.
in the last one, components are pretty much the same. But anyway, we'll
Yep.
come
So,
to that one.
Yeah, we're back on now we're back to artwork, and I go first. The board is back to like the first one. We got the yellow brick road. I think it's got a lot more color to it. But as Jackie pointed out on the last one, the artwork does not match the artwork on the box cover or on the cards. I think the cards and everything, the artwork is a lot better than the artwork on the board.
The
It's different artwork.
It's much more cartoonish on
I mean,
the board than
the-
anywhere else.
The color palette's the same.
Yeah.
But the artwork is different. And I think I even like the artwork on this box one even more than the last one.
Yeah, the artwork on the monster cards is gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
The board is very cartoony,
Right.
but it's serviceable.
Right.
Yeah, the board is definitely cartoony. I like all of the artwork literally everywhere else. I mean, like if you're looking at this monster card, you have the columns with vines growing up the side of it. Like
Yeah.
the like what says Medusa is in like more Greek letters, and even on the legends, their names are in the Greek letters, and it's not just written out. Everything is very well themed in this game. It was definitely a lot more clear.
Yeah, it
Yep.
even has, if you go back to that card, it has, and we learned this in Greece, that pattern that meant,
Oh, yeah.
what did
Yeah.
that pattern mean? It was like life, wasn't it? It was the symbol for life.
I think.
You know
Yeah.
what the Greek keys?
That pattern.
That's the Greek keys.
The Greek keys. Okay,
That's
so
just like a life.
that's what I thought.
Yes.
I thought they
has
told
its ups and downs, and like it'll always be like moving.
But it
basically.
always
it's a
connects.
it's a
and-
constant.
It's the Greek keys. Yeah.
Okay. So, but that has that symbol is all that pattern is around the cards, which I thought I found very, very nice.
Yeah.
And I think this one kind of held a little bit more to us because we've all
We've been to Greece and we've
seen a lot of this.
Yeah. A lot of the items, a lot of the
Yep.
pieces portrayed on the board we've actually been to, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I gave it a 3.2, which is up more because I think I like the artwork a little bit more.
Just making up decimals.
Because you can, man. Because you can. It's
Hey, it's
just
all
a little
math.
bit better than the last one.
Oh my god.
I give it a 3.371.
I can put that in there.
Okay.
3.37.
1.
It only goes 2 decibels. Sorry.
Oh, so we can only make up decimals to a certain point.
Yes.
Okay.
It only gives me 2.
think
I don't have it
I
programmed
think
for
I
that.
did 4 on the last one. I'd probably give this a 4.5. My only I just think
Yes.
it looks cooler. I think the colors are more like diverse. It's more.
Yeah.
My only real critique of the artwork, and it's not even really of the artwork necessarily, but sort of is this, like, when you have a lot of items out, it's really hard, especially on like those smaller spaces like the Nyx, the Forest of the Dryads. Like, it's hard to see, like, you don't get to see
Yeah.
that one. There's like 6 items on there. It's tough to like
See where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if the name is in the middle, like crossroads.
Yeah, like
and-
I wish I guess I wish placement of like the locations of like the text was in a better spot, but I mean I like the artwork overall. So
Yeah, when we was playing this, I could not tell if there was ever anything on the Bay of Ghosts.
yeah, I mean it's just when, especially this, like I said, the small spaces, it's really tough. You know, Agora, which is like the half of the board, like we had like one
Yeah.
thing on there.
Huge.
But like the stables had like 7 items, so you really couldn't see what was going on. But
Yeah.
I like it the most, so it's 4.5 for me.
I'm gonna go 3.5, mostly because and maybe there was those details in the other ones and I just didn't notice it, but I'm gonna go 3.5 because of that Greek attention to detail, that it brought out like I said, the Greek keys, that pattern of the Greek keys. It
Yep.
brought out the Greek symbols and the letters and some of the locations that we've all been to, like the stadium and but yeah, I'll go 3.5.
Okay. The next is the rule book. Justin's pretty much the only one that ever looks at the rule book.
4.5.
4.5. We're going with that 4.5 again. Theme. This theme.
I thought the theme was good. Like,
Oh,
sorry. Oh, sorry. This one's yours.
No, go ahead.
She can have complexity.
You can
I don't
jump
mind
up
giving that
if you
one
want.
up.
Yeah, it's too late. You already started.
The
Yeah,
theme was
jumped
nice.
up.
Just like we said in the artwork, the theme was there for the Greek stuff. I mean, don't you be laughing over here. Wow, I jumped in and then just like
Froze up.
froze up. Yeah. No, the locations are Greek areas. The artwork is Greek themed. Like
You done?
So what'd you give
now
it?
the only thing I could say
Yeah,
is
there
that,
was no number.
on the border should have been the Greek key all the way around.
Yeah,
that's
that would've
true.
looked
Yeah,
cool.
that would've been
That
cool.
would have tied it together.
Yeah.
I give it a 3.71.
3.71.
You're taking this decimal thing to the
3.71.
heart, aren't you?
Yeah.
He's taking it and running with it.
I'll give it a 4. I think it's on theme for the whole thing. I mean, the monsters are, well, the ones we've played with. We've only played with a couple of them. We haven't played with all of them, but they're complex. But it's not as tough. But I think the theme overall is probably the best of all of them, to be honest. So I give it a 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5. This one, maybe it was because we've been to Greece.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, and knowing where some of these places are, Temple of Zeus and the gymnasium and the stadium and all that, having been to some of these places, I just think that was pretty cool. So again, not that I felt the theme, but it appealed to me more so. So
Yeah.
I'll go 3.5.
I'll go right there with you about that. I mean, I think that's why I kind of like this one a little bit more, because we have been there. Mm-hmm. We've seen, like I said, a lot of this. So
Yeah.
I'm going to actually go with a 4 on this one.
Okay.
Complexity. Who's that back to?
Me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Justin jumped in.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he really didn't have much to say about the rule book.
I
It
don't
was
get
like,
anything for the rule book. I never get to go first.
I'll probably give it a
Okay.
4, only because it adds the layer / underworld, whatever we were calling it. It adds that to it, which I think adds a little bit more complexity because you have to overturn that before you can do certain things. So I mean, yeah, I would go with the 4.
I'm going to agree for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
Having that piece of having to find the right layer upped it just a little bit.
Yep, I would have to agree.
Ditto.
It added to the game because you had, like you said, you had to go find things to be able
Not
to go.
only is
It's
it hard
just
to already defeat the monsters, but now you
It's
have to
made it
figure
hard.
out where their lair is
Yeah.
too.
right. You got to go
And then-
find them.
Some
Yeah.
cards will remove the layers, and you have to
Yeah.
find it again.
You have to start all over. Yeah. Because that didn't happen to us at all. No.
Not a bit. Gameplay.
I think we said this is the same.
Oh, that's right.
I think
Well, this
so.
actually stepped up a little
I
bit,
feel
though, I
like I felt like it stepped up just a hair. I felt more challenged in this one than in the last two. Maybe because we increased the difficulty level, we didn't go with the easiest monsters. This one was definitely more challenging. I felt like we lost it, unfortunately, very fast.
Yeah.
I'll stick with a 3.
Sticking with a 3.
Yes.
I'm going with a 3.5 because I did like the extra stuff you had to do to continue. Justin?
I'll give it a 3.5 for the layer, and just, yeah,
Yeah,
it was a little harder.
I'd probably give it a 3.5 as well.
Yeah, I didn't find that the abilities, to me anyway, my ability was not nearly as good in this one as I don't remember what the ability was. That's how much it stood
I think
out.
this is the one where it kind of diverted from the other.
It did.
Yeah, it
the
was
other
completely
two, the
different.
ability, all of
Yeah.
them had mirror images in each game. This one changed drastically.
Slightly. Like in the first 2 games, mine was like I could go to any space with another hero, and this one was I could go to a space with any legend.
Okay. Well, see, I didn't.
So
Mine
mine is slightly-
changed drastically,
okay.
and but I don't even remember what this one was. To
Yeah,
be honest.
I'm having trouble remembering what mine did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
you,
know it
you
wasn't
had like
nothing
the
like mine.
favor. Well, your special was the favor of the gods or whatever.
Yeah.
Mine was that I could go to any space of the layer. Like
Yeah.
no, that was just like an action.
That
I
was
had.
handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off to World of Monsters.
The big change in this one is that there is a center gate that you cannot go into, the void. So the board depicts this. There's a couple of bridges to it. The only time the void came into play is if you played Cthulhu. Because this
Yes.
one actually delves into Cthulhu.
And we played Cthulhu.
We
didn't
did. We actually played this one twice because we lost the first one that miserably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we lost very quickly.
The monsters in this one was the Sphinx, the reclusive Yeti, the ravenous. How do you pronounce that one? Jiangshi. What is it? Does anybody know?
I can't see
Can you
what it.
spell
Can,
it?
can you
Says-
can you show us or
Jiangshi.
Zhangxi?
Shang-Chi.
Jiangshi. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And the great old one itself, Cthulhu.
Okay. Well, the very first one we played against the Yeti and the Sphinx. We killed the Yeti, lost to the Sphinx. The second one, we played against the Yeti and Cthulhu. We again took care of the Yeti. We lost by literally 1 turn.
Well, we found out Cthulhu had 2 different parts.
Yeah.
You had to defeat him in one way, then you had to go to his world and try
Defeat
and
him
defeat
again.
him there.
Yeah. It was a little weird. But we lost by literally 1 card, by 1
Yeah.
action. So with this one, again, as I was saying, the biggest difference with this one is that if you are playing Cthulhu, you have to go into the void and go to his realm and fight him. That's the biggest change. Other than that, again, it plays pretty much the same. There's not a huge variety. If I remember correctly, this one only had 5 options in investigators. So everybody
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
took one. You didn't have a lot of choices.
And they weren't very good.
And yeah, I didn't feel
I don't
like they
remember
were
what
very
mine
good.
was.
No, I don't either. So, okay, that's basically the only difference.
Yeah, well, it had that sideboard for Cthulhu
Yeah,
because
that's what I
once you
said.
went through the board,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you
I
had
wasn't
that
sure if you
sideboard.
talked about the sideboard yet or not.
Well, I said you went to his world, which yes, it was a sideboard
Yeah.
that you had to go to, and once you went there, you couldn't come back or something
Yep.
like that. I
Okay.
don't remember.
So components.
I mean, honestly, same. I don't think it changed any, really. So 3.
They changed a little bit because now they went back to the little square. Well, except for that one shows they're all cut out. Again, the
weren't
player
there-
pieces.
I was gonna say, didn't a couple of them not have stands? So we had to like reuse.
The Yeti.
Yeah, we were-
children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Yeti's children
Children,
didn't have
yeah.
stands, so we just swapped them out. Mm-hmm. And I think the what were these guys called? The villagers or whatever. Do you remember
I
what
don't
they
know.
were called?
No.
I don't remember.
They-
I remember this was one of the hardest to read. Though.
Yeah, they were very small print to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, yeah, the components were pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
Although I didn't like the Cthulhu on the Cthulhu board.
The Cthulhu was
That
very
just looked really.
Yeah.
It looked more like there was an octopus there
like
than.
when you
Yeah, it
when you have
did.
a piece a
That looks like
monster
the
piece that looks like
Sphinx.
that, and then they make Cthulhu a little cardboard piece.
Well,
Yeah.
there was.
Well, Cthulhu
yeah.
had its miniature.
Yeah, it did, which was great.
Yeah,
But
but
then
then it
it's-
doesn't match.
But why not do something similar? Like,
Yeah.
I understand the fact that you needed his tentacles to put the locks on, but
could
you
have
could
easily
have
done that
made
with
something-
a miniature,
The
or
handcuffs?
made the miniature to accommodate both sections.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here, it's, with Cthulhu, as I alluded to, you have to go into the void. His miniature that roams around the board is a green miniature that, a standard miniature. But as soon as you entered the void and you went to his realm, and I can't even remember what the realm is called now, but it suddenly Cthulhu went from being this miniature to being a cardboard standee with bases to help him stand up that looked like an octopus with 4 arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really kind of weird. And then once
was.
you got down there, you had to spend so many tokens in order to lock up one of his tentacles.
And
It was weird. Yeah, it was a very big disconnect right there. That was a disconnect for me for sure.
Yep. So.
rankings.
We're
Ratings.
rankings on components. So you
Yeah.
gave it a 3.
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
But that was the one piece I did not like. of
I'm
the
going to go with
components,
the
was that
2.5 because
of Cthulhu.
the Cthulhu.
Yeah, if I'd
board,
remembered
one
that.
I
just-
drop it to a 2.5.
Matter of fact, yeah.
the extra board.
Drop mine to a 2.5 because of that
Yeah, I'm dropping it to a 2.5 because
Cthulhu.
the Yeti kids didn't have their own little stand.
Oh yes.
maybe
too.
maybe that was just the game we borrowed, but yeah, the Yeti Kids didn't have its own stands, which is
Yeah.
weird.
Right. They were obviously cut out to use a stand, just the way
Yeah.
that they were designed, but they didn't have stands, which was I felt like missed.
So yeah,
somehow.
so our listeners can drop a comment if you've played this and your Yetis kids actually had stands. Let us know. It may have just been the copy we had.
Yeah.
So artwork. So the artwork on this one, we kind of have the yellow brick road, but it's more of a pale yellow in some areas. This one I thought was a hard win to figure the path out on how to go because it was like going off and everywhere. And
Well, and we also primarily stayed down here. We never went up here.
that's where I was
Well,
at the whole
everybody's-
time. Was up at the top.
Everybody's
Okay.
starting point was like kind of in the same
Yeah,
area.
I
General area,
never
yes.
left the bottom of the board.
I was at the top of the board most of the game. Because I think most of the was it what do they call the people there? We don't remember, do we? That was
the
mostly what I was
townies,
doing, but I think I was trying to get the pieces I needed to go chase after Cthulhu, but then realized that you needed everybody to go in there with the proper stuff to even have a shot at defeating
Yeah.
him.
We literally spent like an entire couple of turns just going around picking up items.
Yeah. So
And we wasted too many turns because of it.
yeah.
That's why we lost.
I mean, the artwork. This one is another board that's kind of busy, but at least most of the areas on it are somewhat the same size, except for the Clockwork Village. It's probably the biggest one on there. Oh well,
Thornvine Woods, but
the garden of what is that? Risen.
Risen.
Garden of the Risen.
It's pretty big though.
That's
too,
where you had to
so-
go if you were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it did show you where the layers go. It wasn't just random. They went wherever. There was certain places that the layer
the
tokens
the
went
Greek
to.
one
So
had that same thing.
Is
on
it?
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am going to give this a 3.
What was this category?
This is the artwork.
Artwork.
It
You
was
were-
okay.
The last one you were is a
3.
3.37.
This is a 3.
3. Okay.
I think this is a 3. I was so distracted playing this game because to me, this looks like the town from The Sims 1 Making Magic. And I told Justin to pull up and this is a very huge view of Justin. Pull it on the screen. Oh my God. You're not prepared. This is a big view of the town, but it has it has some of the I don't know. I was so distracted. I was this just I feel like I'm playing The Sims Make It, which is a great expansion pack plug for The Sims 1 Make Magic.
Yep.
But it really reminded me of that, because they have a little train, they have stuff like that. So it's fine. It's a 3. I think there's a lot. This board feels busier than the other boards too. I don't know if there's more locations, but man, I felt like I was where the hell are all these places? Because it's just there's so many.
Right.
So it's a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt this was the busiest board. That was the hardest one to figure out where the paths were.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they're outlined in yellow. I get it.
But once you start, it's you're where is this
Yeah,
going?
I had a hard time with this one, just trying to figure out where I was going and which direction the paths went, because some of the spaces are so small that the items completely covered them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, for me, and again, I just didn't like the style of this artwork. I don't know. I'm giving this one a 2.5.
A 2.5.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I did
look at
not
you.
care for the artwork on this one.
I'm not even a real I think it's just Cthulhu games in general. I'm not a fan of Cthulhu games. But
No.
it's just me.
We weren't ever either. So we're going with the 4.5 again on the rule book there?
No, he said this rule book was a little harder.
Okay.
This
Didn't
one
you?
was more difficult because I don't think the Cthulhu piece was very clear, and I vividly remember us arguing at the table, no, this is what we're supposed to do. No, I read it this way. No,
Yeah.
it's this way. No, it's this way.
We
And
had-
they're just what is going on?
Well,
We
this was
spent
the
a lot of time trying to interpret what they
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this was the first one after the breakup of Prospero Hall, so I'm not sure if it's the same designers, just
I don't
under
know.
their actual names or what. I'm not 100% positive. But yeah, this was after the breakup, so like I said, it could have been
I
Other
would
designers.
give this rule book a 3.
a 3.
From a 4.5 down to a 3.
Yep. So theme.
Oh, is it you or is it me?
It's very
you're going.
Cthulhu themed.
Very Cthulhu theme. I think that was the whole point of this one.
Well, yeah.
I don't really even know a lot about Cthulhu, so I would this really didn't mean anything to me. I don't know.
mhm.
I think it had a little bit of a steampunk feel to it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I think I would give it a 2.5 maybe. And I don't even have a good reason why. It's just, I don't know. It felt a lot more chaotic and tougher to understand and figure out what we were supposed to do. And the monsters weren't overly complicated. The Yeti was so easy.
Oh, the Yeti was simple.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't that, but then the Cthulhu stuff, that was okay, what the hell are we doing? And then it
Right.
was and we did argue about what the hell do we do? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I would give it a 2.5. That's just me.
Yeah, I think I've got to agree because I didn't. Again, I'm not huge into Cthulhu. We have a couple Cthulhu games that are okay, but this one, if I'm going to play a Cthulhu-based game, it's not going to be this one.
No.
Right.
It really isn't. I don't feel that he really came out in the theme on this
No.
one.
Right.
He just wasn't there. And the other monsters, they didn't mesh. I don't
No.
feel like there was
Yeah.
any real clear meshing of the monsters like there is in every other one. All the other ones have a very clear theme, and I don't feel like this one did. So,
I agree.
2.5.
2.5.
It didn't seem like I didn't see where it was going. The regular one was classic monsters. The American had American monsters. Greek were Greek monsters. This one was
What the hell?
What
Yeti?
haven't we
Yeti?
used yet?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
what-
what monsters have we not used? The Yeti, like, who are the other options here? Cthulhu.
There was
The
Cthulhu.
Sphinx. No, not the Sphinx. The
The,
yeah,
the
it was
Sphinx,
the
the
Sphinx.
Yeti, Jingxi, is that what we
yeah,
said?
Zhangxi or whatever. So
Zhangxi
the
and
four of them.
Cthulhu. Yes, there was only the 4.
So I felt like it was just
it was a mishmash of
we had an
monsters that
Egyptian
didn't
monster.
really.
We have the Yeti. Like,
Well, it's World of Monsters. So
But still,
It was kind of
there
like
was no
they
thing.
they
guess,
had
but-
leftover monsters. They had like 3 leftover monsters that didn't make the cut for the other ones.
Yeah.
Like the Sphinx should have been in Greek gods,
yeah,
Although the Sphinx is
No.
not in
Egyptian.
Greece, but it's an Egyptian god. But then you had the Yeti that could have been in the American monsters. but
the
he
Yeti
really
is
isn't
more
part
Europe.
of the right.
Yeah.
So it was those types of monsters
Yeah.
though, but they really didn't have a big theme. So here, let's throw these 3 in there, and we'll just throw Cthulhu in there just to have a Cthulhu game.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's what it felt like.
yeah,
Nothing.
they just didn't mesh.
Yeah, it didn't mesh at all. There's just no
I give
reason
this
for
like this is probably gonna be the lowest rating. I think 1.5.
Oh,
For theme?
Like
Okay.
there, to me, there's just it's steampunk with 4 random monsters.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's the Sims one making.
It's the Sims 1 making magic added 4 random monsters.
it. Yeah. So complexity.
The
I think-
Yeti was easy
The Yeti was
Yeah,
Yes.
this is gonna be
easy.
hard to rate because I just feel like
because
Yeah,
it's
it depends on the monsters
and,
you
and
played on
this
this
is
one.
like I could give this a 4.5, but it's not a good 4.5. This was complex for the wrong reasons compared to the rest of the games.
This had complexity just to have complexity in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because some of the ones were the monster. Well, we only played 3 of the 4.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how the Sphinx played.
I don't
Honestly,
know. We lost.
We,
We didn't-
lost to him. Yeah, I know we didn't
oh,
beat him.
I didn't even think. Did we play
We
with
played.
Yeah, we
we
played
with
the-
the
with the
Sphinx and
first
the
game.
Yeti.
the Sphinx?
Yeah.
The Sphinx and the Yeti.
Yes.
And then we played with
And then we were like,
Cthulhu.
well, we got to play with Cthulhu.
Yeah. Well, we lost
Yeah, might as well
so
play Cthulhu.
quickly
Yeah.
that we just reset and played again.
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Justin? Are you doing? Who was doing complexity first?
We don't know anymore.
Okay. I'm gonna. Oh, gosh, I feel like this one was hard, but again, it was. I'll say that over again. without the
As
dog
you hear
panting.
our grand dog Groot in the background.
He is struggling
He
so
is-
hard right
he's
now. He
being very
usually will
needy.
settle, but he is not settling
not.
tonight.
And you guys have met. Well, if you've watched the YouTube channel, you've met Groot. So I feel like it's like you said, it could be a 4, 4.5, but for the wrong reason. I don't think it's a hard game. I just think that the way they've outlined some of the monsters make it harder than it needs to be.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go back to my standard 3. How's that?
Standard
Because
3.
I just don't feel like the game itself is complex. I feel like they've
Okay, so I'm just going to go straight out 2.75 because, like I said before, I think they made this complex just to make it complex, and they just mismatched all the monsters just to put them together, and they decided, let's just throw Cthulhu in there and make him the most difficult thing you can do, and not really explain to you exactly how you have to go about killing him. So yeah, so 2.75.
Yeah.
What?
Just laughing at the marshmallows being thrown across the room right now.
We're keeping the dogs occupied with marshmallow throwing.
Yeah, it was complex for not the right reasons. I give it a 2.5.
Jackie.
I don't know how to rate this one because I just don't think my rating's gonna be fair. I honestly like part of me wants to give it a 5 because I just don't think Cthulhu is beatable. But I don't know. I think I'd probably give it like a 3. So like the Yeti was so easy. Like that took like 3 turns and we were done with it. I don't know. I don't know. It's not my favorite. I'll give it a 3 because I don't know. 5 feels too harsh.
Okay. So at the end of the day, with all of them, our highest scoring was the Greek monsters.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, do you want to rank them even with our scoring? Like which ones we like the best?
Well, it should be obvious.
I mean, it
I
should
would
be
hope.
obvious,
Yeah.
but
Well, okay,
That's
we'll,
fair.
we'll do this way, and then you'll say
Okay.
which we can
If
say
you
which one we
agree
like
with
the
the
most.
way they came out.
Yeah.
Okay, so our group score was for Greek monsters was 3.61, which is the highest score of the four of them. After that, it was American Monsters at 3.25. So far, we've said good games. Universal Monsters was a 3.18, so we're still above a 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then World of Monsters was a 2.61, which is, we don't believe it's that great of a game.
So we said Greek, American, World, Universal.
Yes, Greek,
And then
American,
World.
Universal, then World. Would you go with that?
That'd be my ranking.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
that's probably what I would have said too.
Yeah. I thought American Monsters I was going to like the best. But no, after playing Greek Monsters, I
Yeah.
like the Greek Monsters
Yeah,
a lot.
this
And I've
past
heard a
weekend
lot
was
of
the
people
first
not
time. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people not liking Greek Monsters because you're supposed to be able to just swap out monsters to be able to play them all on all the other boards.
And that one you can't.
And that one you can't.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can't do that with World of Monsters now either, too. So
No,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
So there you go. So we think the first three are great. The fourth one, we'll let you make your own opinion on it.
You could skip it; it'd be fine.
Yeah. If you've played all four of them, let us know in the comments and which one you liked
I'm
the
not
best.
going out to buy this one.
No.
The fourth one.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I mean, thank you to Jacob for letting us
thanks
borrow
for
it.
Yes.
letting us borrow. I'm
because we almost bought it.
Sorry,
And
we're
we were
trashing
like,
your
"Eh."
game.
Well, we saw it and we almost bought it, and then I was like, "Yeah, let's wait to play it once, just because we don't know." And I'm glad we did play it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I would only buy it to make the collection complete.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't buy it.
Which we
just to
don't even
play it.
have.
No,
Because
Yeah.
we have American.
yeah. Well, I would like to buy American because I do like that one. But
Yeah.
Yep. And I seriously thought, I was like going, well, if we're going to play all four of them, why don't we just go get the fourth one? And now I'm kind of glad I asked you to have
Yeah.
see if you could borrow it from Jacob. So
Yeah.
so
All right, moving
that's
on.
our thoughts.
Yes.
We're down in the hot seat.
All right, so Justin volunteered to be the hot seat
So-
volunteer
Jackie.
this time.
So on the hot seat, we actually have the game, the hot seat. We're not going to actually play it the way it is.
No.
We're going to take 4 random questions,
We're going to pick
but
the
first
clean ones
make sure they're clean,
because some of them are not.
and then and Justin has
that
to
ski
answer
game.
them. So what we're going to do is
No,
I'm going to
not the ski game.
I'm going to pass the box to Jackie and Katie and me. We're all going to pick one, and
Oh,
then we'll
Lord.
let Justin decide who gets to pick the fourth one.
Okay,
oh, so I just pick like a random.
Yeah, just
card.
pick a random card.
pick a couple
Make-
because some of
make
them
sure
may
they're
not be
clean.
clean.
Jackie's gonna pick the dirtiest one.
Family
It's a family
show.
show. You're trying to pick up the scorecards.
I was gonna say, why
I'm glad
can't I get this?
There was one dirty one in here, so.
Oh God.
And
a
Justin's
good one.
smacking his
Why would you think I
microphone with a
wouldn't
dog
do this? I
bone.
would do this.
Well, next time. We'll have to figure out a reason to bring her back on.
Okay, that's a maybe. That's a maybe. Okay.
Can I hear your guys' questions first before I pick who picks the fourth?
Oh, yeah, no,
yes,
you'll
yes.
after we all ask us,
Yeah.
then you'll decide who gets to pick the fourth one. It's going to be one of them. See, I picked up 2. They all have one, so we'll
Yeah.
pick one of those. You can go first if
Oh,
you
it's
want
me.
to, Jackie.
Okay.
Yep.
What makes people gasp when I tell them that I don't like it?
When I don't like it.
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
It's about you, not me.
Oh God. I have to cut a lot of dead air out of this. I have to think about that. What
So
makes
you chose
people
Justin
gasp when I say that I don't like that thing?
I can think of one thing, but then again, I did raise you, so
Oh, I don't like pickles or like vinegary.
That's kind of what I
foods.
figured you would
And
say.
people are always like, "What? Don't you like all food?" And I'm like,
You don't like mushrooms either.
I'm like, well, those grow on the ground. They're funguses, and that's, you're just not supposed to eat that.
They're good.
And that's coming from the culinary person, guys. Like, don't
Yeah.
eat fungus.
yeah.
Like, that's
Just as a short background, he went to
like-
school for culinary arts and
Last
doesn't
of
like
Us,
mushrooms.
fungus. Like, no, just keep that all out.
Okay, Katie, what is your question?
All right. So my question is, what have I done that nobody else in the room has done? So in other words, what have you done that nobody else
Went
in
to
this
culinary
room? Okay, well that's easy. Think of something else.
Ah, dang it.
I know one.
I have performed. Nope, Jackie's probably done that too. Probably more people actually. I have sang on a stage where only I was the person singing and no one else was. And that's not a solo. It wasn't really a solo. It was just I was the only person at that time that was supposed to be singing during that time.
So how was it not
In
a
Godspell.
solo?
I was in a musical. Nobody else was.
There you go.
Did you know that I was in a musical, Jackie?
Oh my god! Don't even
Like
talk
a
about
week
it.
and a half after having his appendix taken
I,
out.
w- I,
She knows.
I was in a musical, but I didn't have a
He
part.
talks
I was
about
just
it all the time. I'm like, okay, I got you. You're in
Yeah.
a musical.
I was in Oklahoma, but I was just in the choir part of the Oklahoma,
Were you the
so I
tree?
was never up on the. I was never up on stage. I was
you
sitting
were
in
the
the
chor-
bleachers
you were
in
part of the
front.
chorus.
Yes, that
Yes.
was it.
See, I was in Sleeping Beauty in like 6th grade. Again, I was part of the chorus,
Okay.
so I was not in the play.
So, what is something that you knew you never needed to do again the moment you tried it the first time?
You just pointed to the World of Monsters board.
It was something that I knew I didn't need to ever do again.
Yep.
Well,
If I pass, do I get a 5th question?
No. Oh my god.
I can't think of an answer. It's something I've done that I knew I never needed to go do that again. I really can't think of anything right now off the top of my head because like all the things I'm doing, like, okay, well that was a cool experience. Like,
I can read you my other one.
yeah,
Do
do
it.
that. Do that.
Okay. I don't know if this is
You
going to
can cut that question
be
out.
any easier. What would I be most surprised by if I were shown the statistics of my life shortly after my death?
oh,
And that won't be counted as a dirty question, okay?
wow.
Would I be surprised by it? I was gonna say
Family show.
The amount of times I talk about my dog, but
Dog?
I don't think dogs.
Dogs.
I don't think anybody would be surprised by that.
So this is you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I'd probably be surprised about the amount of sleep I actually get because a lot of the times I feel like I don't get a lot of sleep, and like over my lifetime, like working in the industry and stuff, the restaurant industry and stuff, like I felt like I didn't sleep a lot during that.
That's because you didn't.
I took a lot of naps, and
I took a lot of
I mean, I
naps.
lived off of naps for like 5 years, but I probably would be surprised about the percentage of sleep that I got.
So there's 3. Who do you want the 4th one to be?
Jackie's was the easiest to answer. I didn't think I was gonna pick her, but
Do you need more questions?
Yeah, give me another one because the other ones I pulled aren't bad, but I'd like a fresh set.
Fresh set.
Here, you can put
She's
these.
going to look for a really bad one.
that could be interpreted in many different ways.
Well, it is your wife. You just asked to do
I
the
know.
last
I know.
What is the closest I've come to death? In all seriousness, don't.
I've only been to the hospital for one major.
Doesn't have to be
thing.
something you went for the hospital for.
I know.
Well, technically, you've been in the hospital twice, but you were
Yeah.
only like 9 months old the
But
first
one of
time,
those
so
wasn't
that
like
doesn't count.
life or death.
I
One of
almost
them
died
was.
and didn't go to the hospital.
Well, yeah, the first
the
one was,
canoeing thing.
but that's okay.
You were not gonna die from the canoeing thing.
I was my foot,
Maybe impaled, but
my foot was caught under a tree. I literally almost drowned.
okay.
Wow.
Wow, this is who you chose to do this. I would have pounded out several answers by now.
I could think of a couple. There
I
was,
can- yeah.
of course, the appendicitis,
The
when you were
appendicitis
in
is
high
the
school.
one thing that I continue to think about. If
Yeah,
knowing me at that time, like
If-
I fought off pain a lot. Like I didn't want to be sick. I never was sick. I didn't like to say, "Hey, I'm in pain." And if I did that, like it could have just burst inside of me instead of going to the
yeah.
hospital.
They said you
before
were
it.
in the beginning stages of an appendicitis
Yeah.
when we took you in, and it was because you listened to your body
Mm-hmm.
and knew something was wrong. That we went in early and they caught it very early. But I was thinking of, I don't know, forehead to the concrete floor. I could think of a few things, but
I was fine.
Yeah, he was more worried about his knee instead of the big bump on his
the
head.
goose egg forming on his
Yeah,
forehead.
I'm gonna say probably appendicitis will be the closest I've come to death.
No.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
The worst hot seat.
No, I think we've kind of had dead air.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
to cut out a lot of.
Yeah.
Alright. So this is going to do it for episode 75. If you like this episode or any content and haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so by going to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, give us a rating and comments. This is how others find the show. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on social media, just to keep up with us, just follow the links in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Discord, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.